Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Nobody's gonna watch tonight. We don't have no viewers. We was to turn it off.
Hey guys.
There ain't none on there.
No.
Nobody's gonna watch us tonight.
Are they all in bed? Are they in bed?
They might have done went to sleep. They may be mad at us.
For what?
I don't know. Reckon we done something made them all mad? Yeah.
Maybe it was the fire.
Huh?
Maybe it was the fire.
Yeah, maybe the smoke was getting in their eyes. Reckon?
You can sit in that chair.
No, there's 2 or 3. Rodney Dunaway's there. Richard T., Michigan Prepper, John Thomas. We'll get a few people in here. It just takes a moment. I didn't think Brody was gonna be here with me tonight. His mama has got a ladies' Christmas party tonight, and he was down at Nanny's, and I was getting my stuff together, and next thing I know, here he comes up here. So he wanted to be on the live tonight, didn't you? We got a lot to do, ain't we? But he said he'd done eat at Nanny's. He wasn't gonna eat my cooking. You didn't want no possum necks? Huh? We was gonna cook possum necks and possum tails.
What?
Alright, anyway, let's get started on this. I have got my cast iron pot right here. So, what we're going to do with this is make a quick soup. So the first thing, canned deer meat. I don't know how hard it's going to be to get out of that can because it's cold. But I've got a little bit of water in there. Don't get in front now. I got a little bit of water in there. So that is what canned deer meat looks like. So what we're gonna do is, I don't want to break my jar shaking now.
Hey y'all.
Tell them something.
Okay. Y'all, that's a pirate ship burning. Well, it's not sinking.
Brody's been pretending that log in there. I got some of his hot water I'm gonna pour it in this jar and slosh that around in there and try to get my the goodie out of there. There's some seasons. Get me a stirring spatula over here and scrape that
There's
out.
a pirate ship. Why is that pirate ship not burning yet? It's not going into that. It's not turning into ashes. But it's almost turned. No. Well, that whiteness right there. That means it's gonna burn first. But when we get through it, we'll.
Y'all didn't know we was burning a pirate ship in there, did you?
No, it's not. It's fixing the same.
I need to be able to see what I'm doing.
It's still on fire.
Yeah. Alright, I got some, I'm going to let that be warming up. We're not going to put it right over the fire. And there's probably going to get a little ashes in there, but we're going to call that seasoning.
No,
You got to keep jugging that button, make it go off.
The ashes is the water. Because it's white water. It's like white water. White nasty water. You know, like, the bottom of the ship burned. There's always pirates
You through talking for a second? For just a second? See, I got to move them over here for a moment. I got some onions. Reason I'm going to cut these up. Let's get that bad part off. The rest of that's good. Break these tops off where they yellow. Anyway, then I'm going to cut them roots off. And I'm going to sling that out through yonder like that across the yard. Oh. I like some onion and a lot of it in my soup. So, well, look at that. That's going to roll off my cutting board. Let me get on this one. Brody, not with that soup up there, bud. Hang on. We'll put wood on there in a minute, okay? I'll let you put some in a minute. I don't want bark in my soup.
You gotta put it over it.
Huh?
Just put it over it. What is those little things?
This is onions.
Onions?
Yeah, green onions we grew in the garden down there.
Oh. You want to have a rat killing?
A rat killing? Well, not while we're doing it live.
I mean,
they get, them folks on there get upset if you pull a gun out there. Ask me how I know. I mean, they don't like it not near a bit. And I stay in enough trouble like it is.
You want to cut some of those peppers?
Huh?
You want to cut some of those
I've
peppers?
washed that, but that stuff looks like, oh, it's drying. I washed them the other day. I didn't wash them today. I brought them up here and washed them. And I guess that outside is drying. That in there ain't gonna do no better. I'm gonna cut some of them up though that look better. I guess I'm getting picky. Well, I threw that on the ground.
Can you cut some of those peppers? Those look good.
You like them peppers in your soup?
No.
That's probably enough onion. No more soup we making. It probably don't need no lot of onion. Yeah, I ain't gonna put no peppers in there in case you want to bite. How about that?
I'm not getting the bite.
You don't want none?
Just get a green pepper.
Why?
Just do it.
You just want me to put one of them green peppers in there? What if you decide you want to eat some of it? What is that on? That there looks dirty. Do this one.
Some of the peppers might look good.
You want to eat a pepper?
Try the red.
No, them's hot.
Do
Them red ones is bad hot.
Just.
Let's go put this in the soup pot.
I just leave one of the red ones. You can eat the red, okay?
All right, quit.
Okay.
My helper now, y'all.
Put it in soup. Put it in soup.
Look, get your bark over there. Ah. See if these folks can see what we are doing here. It don't pay to be a film and stuff. Folks can't see it.
They film the ground too.
Well, we got the majority of it. Oh.
You want to put some of the red in there?
Wait in a minute. Let that warm up. You get in your chair over there for a minute. How about that?
Can you put that bark in there?
You get in that other chair. Let me have this one. You're in the king seat. I'm the king.
No, I'm the king.
You want me to put that bark in there?
Yeah. Just
Lord.
tear a little bit of pieces because on the bottom.
Right there. It's in the back.
It's not gonna burn in the back.
Yeah, it is.
It just goes through.
Ah. Well, y'all, it is a mite cold out here. Let me look at the temperature. I'll tell y'all what it is.
So
It is about
That's
38
good.
degrees, it looks like, over there, according to that thermometer. Now, I don't know how accurate it is. And so what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to let that onions and that meat warm up and cook just a little bit. Now, the meat is cooked. You could eat it right out of the jar. But I do want it to warm up. And I want them onions to cook down just a little bit. And then I have got 1 jar of canned tomatoes I'm going to add.
I just put that piece in there.
I just got a jar that we canned of tomatoes. And it was because I didn't lay anything out to cook. I've been busy today. I filmed that video this morning. Got all that done. It was dinner when I got home. I worked on knives, and then I had to go see a elderly lady in the community. I went and visited with her. Of course, that always takes longer than you expect, but that's okay. So I'm getting further and further behind on knives. I'm seriously thinking about taking about a week off of filming, and to make sure I get all of these knives I've got done before Christmas. The lady at the post office told me December the 18th was the latest that they could guarantee anything arriving before Christmas. And I don't just have that many, but I don't like to make promises that I can't keep. And it's like this week. I hadn't made but about 4 knives all week, and I should have made about 8. But the problem's being I've been going here, there, and yonder doing stuff. What are you doing?
There's bugs around. Look.
Oh, well, don't fall in the fire.
Can I put this in the fire?
Yeah, don't throw it in my pot, though. But anyway, we've had a lot going on, trying to get a lot done, and I don't know whether Michelle has been overloaded with stuff from the church. They've been decorating every night for the ladies' banquet or ladies' Christmas party, and they're up there doing that tonight. So it seems like every time you turn around, there's stuff you got to go do, and you can't. Which I went hunting yesterday evening and this morning because I knew that was going to be my last getting to go hunting for about a week. But I did forget about I've got to go up there tomorrow evening to the rifle draw, and they're going to give away a 22 Henry lever action. I've been selling chances on that. And then, but in the morning, sometime we've got a deal at the church that I've got to go be a part of for I don't know how long. And I don't know, everywhere you turn, when you get involved in stuff, other people line you out with jobs, and you're obligated to go here, to go there, and I'm getting to the point I'm ready to just tell everybody I'm not available. You want to do stuff, you want to help, you want to be involved in things that you're kind of expected to be involved in, but everybody wants to have stuff going on, and you can't do everything. It's just impossible. And I don't know, if y'all are involved with churches, it seems like a church thinks they need to have something going on every night. And I'm not for that. I have a lot I need to be doing. I got something sticking me in this hat. Oh, it was a plastic tag. But anyway, not to gripe about all that. I got plenty I can gripe about. It gets overwhelming at times. And Jeff, you go into DTs. Well, I have tried to put videos out, and I'm going to tell y'all everything I have done. I have got scolded. I got scolded for putting traps around my deer feeder. I got scolded for putting corn out. Everything I do, somebody gets on to me about till it's about frustrating. Which today I finally just started blocking people. I mean, it gets ridiculous, I guess. Oh, Lord, Lord. We got people from everywhere. Well, anyway, me and old Brody's got us a fire going. I've actually got 3 fires burning right now. I'm feeding one in the house. We're feeding this one, and there's still one going in the knife shop because I had just left from down there. I've got 2 knives working on that I've got the sheaths. All I like right now is stitching the sheath up. They're put together, everything. Knives are done. I need to put the finished final sharpening on the knives, but I should have shipped them yesterday. I wound up going the other day to Tupelo. I had to go up there and do some business, and we had to stop in West Point at the clay store, but so I didn't work that day, and then yesterday I had, what did I do yesterday? I worked a while. Yeah, I was here most of the day yesterday, because that's when I made the 2 knives. Burbank, California. Hey, Jeff. Linwood Vowel. Arkansas in the house. Jeff, you know, the thing about the side-by-sides, I don't think people realize, but those exhausts on them are not run under the machine. They're run up next to the bed. In fact, the one I got now, the exhaust will actually get the seat heated up. We were riding the other night. We rode down to the swamp, and me and Michelle and Lissy and Brody all rode down there. And Michelle said, I'm getting hot. She was sitting in the middle. The exhaust comes up high. Not to mention, they got skid plates all the way under them to prevent all of that kind of stuff on those. So the side-by-sides are not going to catch anything on fire. I mean, now I do know a man right up the road here about 2 or 3 years ago, got in there, went to dump some trash out, and he burned his truck up. It didn't burn the field off. It was wet around. It burned a little around it, but fire didn't really go nowhere. But it burnt a Ford truck to the ground. There was nothing left of it, hardly. It melted all the aluminum, everything. And we went up there and tried to put it out. Fire department was up there, everything, but they wouldn't know putting it out. Gerald, I believe I'm going to get the knives I've got made. I've got about, right now, I think I've got about a page of knives to build, which is about 10 or 15, maybe, I don't know. I can, if I stay with, and next week, that's why I say I'm threatening not doing a lot of filming next week, just so that I can focus and get that done and not do anything else. I'm going to have to not hunt. And it ain't hey, I can't film a video. It's I can't go off fishing. I can't go off hunting and all that kind of stuff and get the knives done. That's the reason the TP's still not finished. That TP, it's time consuming to peel all them poles. And I think I have about got the poles peeled. I have got right now with the TP, I need to finish stitching up around the other door. And I'm thinking about putting grommets around them things right now for the lacing pins, and then I could put it up. So most likely I'll put it up next week. What do you need?
Yeah, put this high.
Yeah, just don't put it in my pot. Um. Watch back. Did you get it in there? Did you get it in there? Son. Oh, I need a stirring stick. Ugh.
Yeah, stir it around.
I don't know what that was. Something on my jacket hung over there. What?
That looks so good.
Well, we gotta add some salt to it.
Salt. I want to put the salt.
No,
Why?
cause you'll have it too salty. I won't be able to eat it. Where is the salt?
In the house.
Oh, there's supposed to have been some out here.
How much do we need? How much do we need?
I don't know.
How about 4?
All right. Well, this you can put a little bit. Shake it. Shake it. Hold it in there and shake it, son. Look.
You waste
All right. I didn't waste nothing.
Can I put that?
Yeah. Hold it over the thing. Turn it upside down and shake it. All right, that's good. You'll have Daddy on fire.
Why are we putting that deer in there?
The deer is in there.
Now
That's tomatoes. Them folks ain't even watching. You didn't turn the camera around, did you?
no, didn't it? You gonna have a good evening.
Huh?
Oh, someone out there.
Well, it'll be all right. We got plenty. Let's add the tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Tomatoes. Tomatoes. Tomatoes.
All we done, y'all, while I had the camera turned the wrong way, was put some salt in there. Oh.
Can I put some?
Don't drop it now. All right, just that easy. We got a stew made, y'all.
Can I? Are you gonna stir again?
Yeah, here.
I'm gonna stir.
You gonna stir? Well, don't slosh it out.
This is a lot of ingredients.
All right, that's good right there. Let's put it over the. Let's put it in there and let it cook. Cook, 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 cook. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. Brody's gonna sit over here and tend to it, I believe. Oh.
When are we done? Is that what chip? Barn?
Linwood, that ain't a half bad idea. He said just put the knife up there while I'm making knives. Put the camera up there while I'm making knives. You know, I had thought about doing my live tonight down there in the knife shop while I was stitching up sheaths. Boy, my coffee done about got cold. I'm gonna have to go fill it up.
You gotta do it.
We're in the upper, Jeff Busby, we're in the upper 40s here tonight right now. It's supposed to be cold tonight, and then I think first of next week it's supposed to start warming back up. I hadn't looked. I heard somebody saying that. I think it was about 28 or so this morning when I got up. What?
I need to go do something. Can you pause that?
I can't pause it.
Why?
Well, it won't pause.
Uh,
What you going to do?
I just need to do something real quick.
Well, go do it. They'll be here when you get back. He's worried to death. He's going to miss something. Sharon, I'm trying to teach that boy a few things. I may not be doing a real good job of it, but we trying.
Look, y'all.
He's got his dinosaur.
And
He sleeps with that right there every night. You have him out here, son, you'll have him filthy. You better put him back in the house.
Okay.
He gets to smelling like smoke, and Mama may not let you put him in the bed tonight.
What's going on?
There's old Roscoe. Uncle Sasquatch be looking for you, son. Uncle Sasquatch be wondering where you at. Roxanne's been down there making circles around the chicken coop. She stays on rat guard when she's loose. But she's done about become an inside dog during this cold weather.
Like these cars?
Larry Alexander, I might have to film some work because well, the thing is I really wanted to fish. I wanted to go fishing this weekend, but I've just had too many other things that I needed to do. Some of it I wanted to do, I guess, like this morning, which this morning, the Rio Link camera, I get the notification that the battery is dead on it. So I mean, it hadn't come, well, I don't know, I didn't look. I know last night, the last time I looked, it was down below 10%. So I knew it was gonna die. So I went in there and got it the day before. Well, after I charged it all up, I knew I wanted to put it back in another spot because I don't know what is in that other spot over there. And so I pulled the camera out, and there was just I think I had a 4-point in there and a couple of does. So I'm probably not going to see a whole lot. And but that's one of the things, the reason I am putting corn out more or less is to get video and pictures and stuff to see what is in the area. Once I know what is in the area, in fact, this morning, I actually walked around an area where there's a little creek bottom, and when I say creek bottom, the creek ain't as wide as this fireplace hardly. You can about jump across it. It may be a little wider than that. It ain't as wide, probably about as wide as from between these two posts. And it curves and goes all back through that property. And it's got a little hardwood on either. Hey, quit hollering! It's got a little hardwood on either side of it, but nothing with acorns and stuff. But the deer are traveling in that area. Get down, dirty feet. And I walk through there, and it would be a good place. The only problem I have is being able to get my deer back out once I shoot it. Son, that is boiling, y'all.
Boiling.
I knew I'd get to talking and
Can I start?
no, let me watch that. I think I'll be all right if I just keep it about right there. But I wanted to hurry up and heat it up, that's why I shoved it on back into that. All right, let it sit right there a minute. But anyway, my biggest reason right now, I got scolded for putting corn out. Somebody, and I just blocked them because I done explained this 2 or 3 times. But my reason for putting corn is a couple of reasons. Number one is everybody else is putting corn. So if you go in there and you're not hunting one of those stands of corn, where are you going to hunt? Because you got 20 stands in there in 3,000 acres that other people are feeding corn in. So they're going to be sitting there watching the deer if you're not. And that is just the nature of paying into a lease like that. Now, all of my hunting that I do in this swamp back here behind me, there's no baiting whatsoever on that management area. So all of that hunting is strictly trees, and you can go in there and do that. And I adapt and do what the people around you are doing if you're going to be successful. And the biggest thing is I'm not over there to try to prove how good a hunter I am. I'm over there to put meat in a freezer or in them cans. It's the very reason I'm hunting is because I like to put meat, kill it, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. This ain't about ethical or about how good a hunter you are, about fair chance or that ain't real hunting or whatever. The only thing that matters is I got meat in a skillet, and that's it. If I have to, if it was legal, I'd trap them in a cage. I won't eat deer meat. You know what I mean? So it's, but people get all upset if you don't do everything the way they want you to do it, and I'm not about that. So from here on, them kind of people just block them, turn them off where they can't comment and won't be done with it. But everybody thinks that, you know, all with the bow hunters, if you use a crossbow, you ain't a real bow hunter. If you ain't, you know, if you running dogs, you ain't a real deer hunter. If you ain't hunting with this kind of gun, well, you ain't a real hunter. And you know, if you really want to get down to it, if you ain't clubbing them in the head with a stick, you ain't a real hunter. You know, I mean, because everything we're using is an advantage and a technology. And if you're sitting under an acorn tree and you're sitting there watching that acorn tree, you're baiting that deer. Really and truly. It's no different. So, you know, one guy, he says, oh, you need to plant a food plot and sit and watch it, but you can't put corn out. Well, what difference does it make what bait you're using? All of it is bait in the grand scheme of things. So, you know, just because you don't like something and go whining about it, don't make you right. And you know but people, you know, that's the deal. When you put your life out there on the internet, you expect it. And for the most part, for the last 5 or 6 years, I have dealt with it fairly well. But after a while, when you get overwhelmed with stuff, I guess you get frustrated with it. Then all of a sudden, it starts getting under your skin, and then one thing is when you do get in the algorithm and get to growing and your videos start finding new people, you really get a lot of that negativity then. There's always somebody that don't like something. Matthew Preston said there ain't nothing wrong with a little corn. I tell you, Matt, what there ain't nothing wrong with. There ain't nothing wrong with meat in a skillet. That's what they ain't nothing wrong with. I watched old Matt, y'all. He cooked that deer ham the other day, and I have put them in a Dutch oven, and I'll tell y'all what I got. I saved the one I killed the other day. I didn't film it, ain't showed it, ain't nothing. It's got a few horns on it, and I said, you know what? I filmed it all, and then I said, you know what? I ain't even gonna put that video out there because number one, I don't be rubbing in people's face that I killed a buck. So I'll just tell y'all, for the guy that was scolding me about putting the traps around the corn feeder, I done killed the biggest buck it was in that spot already, so that's why I put the traps there. His head hanging up down there under the shed. I'm tanning his hide already. What, bud?
When are you putting that hot pepper in there?
I done put the one I was gonna put in there, ain't it?
Was it green?
No, yeah, it was green.
When are you putting the red one?
I'm not putting that red one.
You like hot.
I do like hot, but I don't want it in my soup. What if Mama comes in and wants to eat it?
She doesn't like.
You just want to put that hot pepper in there, ain't you? He's wanting to burn me up. That's what he's wanting to do.
Scold you. Scold me.
But talking about the corn, here in Mississippi, it has been illegal for years and years. They just legalized corn back, it's probably been 6, 7 years ago. And for a long time, it had to be in 100 yards away from the wherever you're hunting. You couldn't be close to it. Well, what sense does that make? You know, all they done then. Watch, don't get burnt. All they done then was made the guys that was a bad shot cripple a bunch of deer up. And the thing that I don't understand is, legal or illegal, most people's going to do whatever they going to do regardless. It's all about revenue for writing tickets. Well, now they have got it legalized. You can put corn anywhere, but they don't want you putting it on the ground. In other words, they just don't want you piling it up on the ground. Well, they claim that is because of the chronic wasting disease, and I don't understand a lot about it. I don't study on that stuff. I don't know. Brody, quit raking the coals out here. My question about the chronic wasting disease is, if deer are getting it from eating corn off the ground, are you going to go into an area and pick up all the acorns and put them in a trough for them? How you going to solve that problem? Because all them acorns that's falling, when they are falling, here they ain't really a lot falling. They wasn't as many acorns as a lot of people thought. So how you gonna stop that? Is the acorns on the ground not the same as the corn on the ground? Somebody explain the difference for me there. You know, I mean, it seems like you're just trying to find something to write a ticket for or gripe about or whatever they trying. I don't know. Allison Kinney from Sunbright, Tennessee. I talked to Miss Donita Randolph this week. Good to see you, Allison. Yeah, with Dave talking about the acorns, we've got some acorns, but it's only certain ones. So what we call the swamp chestnut chestnut oak, it's the white oak with the big acorns. Well, they had acorns on them, but they were about the size of your thumb. They wasn't very many of them. The pin oaks did good, but the acorns was the size of your finger when they should have been big as your thumb. They was like small. The water oaks, they would none. There's no water oak acorns at all. Last year, they wasn't very many acorns. So for 2 years in a row, there's not been a good acorn crop here in Mississippi. So what we have had is a double whammy, I call it. The fall before both of these years, it's been very, very dry. Now last year, let's see, it was dry all up this fall, it was dry all up last fall, yeah. The next thing that happened is in the spring, we had a really late cold spell, like ice on the ground late in April. And in fact, the year before last, my peach trees were bloomed out, and I had took pictures, I think they're in a video somewhere of the ice, of my peach trees encased in ice, the blooms. I mean, they're like a 1/4-inch sheet of ice on the blooms themselves. So I don't know which one put the biggest hurting on the acorn crop. The thing I will say is this year there was some water oak acorns about midway through the year. So I think the drought is what got them. Now, a lot of this is speculation. I'm going on what I saw happen here in the yard. I've got 2 sawtooth oak trees right down here. Last year, with the bad acorn crop, they dropped a lot of acorns. I had acorns all over the yard, and it was dry bad last year. Well, this year, none. There's no acorns on those sawtooths. So, you know, it's hard to say exactly what done away with it, but I will say this: we've had bad acorn crops both years. Rick and Barbara Freeland, I'll tell you what they like here. They like peas. So I bush hogged my pea patch out here. Well, there was 2 rows toward the back I left. And then after I decided, you know what, I ain't going to get nothing out of them. I'm tired of fooling with them. I'm going to clean everything up. I bush hogged them too. Cleaned all that up. Well, they put back out. I mean, they got up this tall and started making peas. Well, I just got where I would ride by on the buggy and look at them. Be like, well, they started making, I was like, well, there's going to be enough there to pick. I mean, I wasn't planning on picking them. Honest to God, I wouldn't. I was done with the peas. But I was keeping an eye on them just to see what happened. And by the time they would have got right, the deer cleaned them up. Deer love peas here. So I'm going to be honest with you. If a fellow was to buy him a bunch of peas and plant them, he could hunt that pea patch. If you had about an acre of food plot and you would just, go out there and just broadcast it in pea plants and let them come up, let them go wild, I think it would do well because it's warm enough here right now that those peas are out there. Now that last cold, I still had some butter beans on a vine down there and it zapped all of that stuff. But up until then, like you're bow hunting, you could have bow hunted that crop of peas. There's no doubt. And they would have come to that and walked by corn piles to get there. And so next year I may do that over there. I helped them plant this year, but I didn't know where nothing was, where I could do what up there at that club. So I got up there and got in the middle of a bunch of guys that's putting corn out, and they're all putting corn. And what do? You got to put corn out too if you're going to hunt. So I have seen some phones this year, Mike Culpepper. In fact, we got one over here where my dad's got a camera that she's got at least 2, possibly 3. Now we're thinking that one of them may be maybe adopted. I don't know. And I had somebody else telling me they was watching a deer that had 3 babies. And I told them, I said, it's a good chance that they adopted one, you know. Lisa, they eating all your plums and blueberries. Oh, you talking about the drought got them. Yeah. It got our figs. But I had figs this year, late in the year, but I finally had figs. I still got some peppers down there I could have picked, but I think this last cold spell, I think they withered away. They probably in mush by now. Brody, watch back. Let me check on my soup. I need to stir in my soup. I don't want it to stick, but I got it backed up where it's just kind of warming.
I want to do it.
You want to do it? Okay, we'll stir in it a little bit. Hang on, let me get it on that side of the hook. Get the stick. All right, I'm going to hold the pot. I'm finna get me a bowl of it. I ain't had nothing to eat today. You didn't tell them about you going to the doctor, did you?
I had a doctor's appointment.
What'd they do when you got there?
They had,
You don't remember?
I can't remember what, like...
You don't remember me sitting on that bench right there beside you and what they done?
Can I put
No, let me do this because I don't want to get scalded.
I wanted to put some in yours too.
Yeah, I know you did, but I didn't want you pouring it on my fingers.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
I'm going to eat this bowl.
What else do you want to put in that?
Huh?
Is that all the ingredients?
That's all the ingredients. We got to say a prayer here. We're going to pray our prayer. Thank you, Lord, for the woods and the creek. Thank you, Lord, for the food we eat. Thank you, Lord, for the fish that swim. Thank you, Lord, for all of them. Thank you, Lord, for the plants that grow. Thank you, Lord, for the white-tailed doe. Thank you, Lord, for everything. In Jesus' name. Oh. And I think I missed part of a line. I can't never remember all of it. I get tongue-tied sometimes. Roscoe's sitting there just licking his chops. Roscoe, tell him about that deer jerky you eat this morning. Yeah. Roscoe, while I was gone hunting for another deer, I left my deer jerky laying on the night. Well, my little table beside my recliner. I was sitting there last night reading Hunter Yo, and I had my deer jerky. I was a nibbling on it. They was getting into some serious stuff there in that book, and I was a nibbling on that deer meat and a reading, and well, I didn't eat all of it, so I went on to bed and forgot about it. Well, this morning, when I got home from the deer camp, I looked in that bag where my deer jerky, I was going to get it and finish eating it, and I couldn't find it. And I found that empty bag in the garbage can, and it had a lot of little bitty teeth marks in it where it'd been chewed up. I know who done it, didn't it? Yeah. What? You want to bite? Well, you standing here mighty close.
How does it taste? How does the salt taste?
Huh. Get your bite. It tastes like tomato to me.
Tomato.
See, if I had a canned me some mixed vegetables, I'd have had a ready-made soup. I didn't really have to cook this. I mean, basically, you pour it all in that pot and warm it up, and you're ready to go. I wanted to cook my onions down a little was all. It's good, though. Matthew Graves, I am trying to get... I've had several people ask about the prayer. I was going to try to get it put on a shirt. But I'm trying to get contact with somebody. I'm going to try to figure out a way to have it like on the signs like the one I got. Mr. C.J. Gaucher sent me a sign that he had made with it on there. And I've got it. It's propped up at the end of my bar there where when we say the blessing, if we're going to say it and can't remember it like I did a while ago, you know, I get tongue-tied, we read it off. But I was going to try to make them available for sale, but my problem, I've got it made, but I've got to figure out how to remove the background in the text. When I move the background on what I move the background on, that way, like if you put it on different colors, it shows up. Well, the inside of all the letters still got the whatever color in there, white or black, whatever background you started on. So I've got to figure out how to fix that. That's my hold up. My daughter used to help me with all of that kind of stuff, but since she got her a boyfriend, she don't come home no more. I don't know where Brody went. He cut out on us. I tell y'all what would have been good if I'd had time to have made some cornbread. I think I'd put another stick of wood on that fire. Kathy, I didn't totally write the prayer. My dad started that prayer and wrote it for my brother and sister, and when they were kids, and they're about 12 years older than I am, and I think both of them added a line to the prayer. So really and truly, all of my family kind of wrote it. My immediate brothers and sisters and my dad. What? You don't look at him what he's got. Show him what he found.
Leftover pizza.
Yeah. He won't eat good food. He likes that slop. But, I mean, in a way we did write it, but I didn't personally take all the credit for writing them. Me and Brody added a couple of lines to it. But it is really good. It's, you know, It's a good, wholesome, meaningful prayer.
It's not even hot.
No, it ain't hot. It's been laying there since yesterday when we went to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened yesterday. We had to go to the doctor, wasn't it?
Blood appointment.
I knew there was something that got our day yesterday. I couldn't remember. Independent thinker, they trying to not let you come in. You thought I done got mad and blocked you too, didn't you? I've discovered on some channels that I used to come in on, I've been blocked. And I don't know what I did. I didn't really think I'd done anything, but I got to noticing I didn't ever get responded to. And so I got to looking, and nobody else could see where I was commenting on it. So what that means is they hid you from the channel. You can still, like if I block you, you can still watch videos and comment, but nobody else sees. Only you can see your comment. So when I discovered I had been blocked by some of them, I just quit watching them. I don't know what I done to them, but I guess they got mad at me. Oh well. I didn't have time to watch it no way.
Can you move that pot?
Yeah. I ain't got nothing but juice left. That's where that crackers would come in, wouldn't it? If you'll move, I'll dip me some more meat out of that pot. Roscoe, you gonna fool around and get scalded with that pot.
It catch on fire.
Regney William.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to strain it. Ah.
Get some more. You can get some.
Let me put another stick of wood. Roscoe. Let me put another stick on there.
Stick! I said a log.
Hell, we got a big one, ain't we? All right, watch back. Oh, let me get one more while I'm getting. There we go. Hang that right there. Let it stay warm. All right. Let me get back to my soup. My soup eating. I was reading over these comments. Anyway, he gonna fool around, y'all, get slammed, scalded. But I'm gonna tell y'all, the only way you can teach a hard-headed young'un a lesson is to let them get hurt. And then you try to not let them get hurt bad enough that it's serious, because that's the only way to learn. That's like him with his pocket knife. I told him not to use that pocket knife and didn't know he had it. He went and snuck and got it. So, I mean, you can't watch him 100% of the time, but I bet you don't use that pocket knife no more, do you?
When I went in the laundry room, I just threw it at that Christmas box. I just did it.
I don't have to tell him no more. So if he fools around over there and get burnt, I won't have to get on to him no more about it. Then all I got to do is say, well, do it again.
If I fall in, I'm turning to ashes.
Yeah, you'll probably go right up that chimney. You might meet Santa Claus coming the other way.
We might just set it on fire.
Mm-hmm. Frank, they wouldn't show you my videos. Rodney Dunaway, I don't know where this young'un gets being so hard-headed. I mean, I'm so good-natured and peaceful and easy-going. I don't get aggravated about nothing. I'm perfect in every way. Might be like Eugene, he is bad to lie. Y'all know old Eugene, that was the meanest young'un ever was. I mean, Eugene, they said Uncle Versus spent half his time whooping Eugene.
Can you move that?
Every now and then we'd get our mule wagon hooked up and we would have to go to the grist mill and get corn ground up to make bread. Well, we'd get some ground up for human consumption, and they'd get some ground up to just make dog bread with. You know, that's what they fed them dogs. Well, one day we was headed to the grist mill, and we went by that Ledbetter house, and we heard the awfulest howling and carrying on going on around back of that house. And we stopped a mule in the wagon, and I said, I'm going to have to go around there and see what is wrong. Something is wrong with them dogs. I ain't never heard such howling in all my life. Walked around the back of the house, and Eugene had two of the prettiest hounds up in a gasoline washing machine. It going broop, 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 broop. Every time one of them dogs would stick his head up, old Eugene would shove it back down in there. I said, Eugene, what are you doing? He said, I'm going to wash these dogs if it takes the rest of the evening.
Move that pot.
No, I can't. I want it to stay warm. It's going to stay right there. Oh, Eugene, he was the one that liked to play dog, you remember. Oh, Eugene, he'd get up under the porch, and somebody come up, he'd come out from under there. And one day he bit Aunt Daisy on the leg. I mean, just bit a plug out of her leg right there. It was bleeding. Uncle Versi whooped Eugene, had him in the house. Said, Eugene said, you tell Aunt Daisy you sorry. Said, Aunt Daisy said, oh, I know he wants to be a sweet little boy. And Eugene said, sweet, you want something sweet? Grabbed that pitcher of molasses off the table and just dumped it over Aunt Daisy's head. The meanest young'un I ever seen. You that mean, Brody?
Pepperoni! Water.
Jeff, you got your vinyl. What you gonna stick that sticker on, Jeff? Mike Reed, how are you, brother? I've got to get me some more of them vinyls made. I want to put one on the side of my buggy. Y'all, that deer stew's pretty good. You're going to put it on your GMC truck. Alicia Stringer from Foxworth, Mississippi. Well, Mike Reed, we got some deer stew. We got canned deer meat, dumped it in this skillet right here. And a can of tomatoes, and we chopped up some onions and threw it in there, and that's it. And we had stew just like that. That canned deer meat is the way to go when you want a quick meal. Roscoe wants some bad, Michigan Prepper. I mean, he's just sitting there just quivering. He'd really like it, and I'll probably give him some, but I really wanted to eat what I wanted out of this bowl before I set it down there, because after he eats out of it, I'm kind of through with it then, you know. Somebody told me one day, said, I can't believe you let that dog eat out of your bowl. They seen him over there licking a plate clean. I said, yeah, you go to the fast food restaurants and them places and stick that silverware in your mouth. They ain't no telling who all's had it in their mouth. And, oh, man, they cringe like they ain't never thought about that. I said, you trust in hot water way more than I am. That dog's... I believe Brody's went in there and went to war. I hear him in there. He's hollering and carrying on. I don't know who he's fighting. We done burned the pirate ship out here, he said. All right, Roscoe, I done, my belly's full. Yeah, you have you some soup, Roscoe. He's happy now. I need to go fill my... George Lindsay is why you don't... I don't eat out a lot, but it ain't because I'm worried about the silverware. I worry about what they're putting in the food. But, you know, if they cook it halfway decent, I mean, we all got to die something, I reckon. It might as well be eaten. I had somebody scolding me the other day about my cooking oil. I think that was on Facebook. I get scolded pretty regular. And they said, oh, that cooking oil, it'll kill you. I said, well, I might as well die eating good. If I'm going to die of something, the Lord's going to call us all home sometime or another. Oh. For the 30-30, actually, Mike Reeves, I have not loaded any 30-30, and I'll tell you why. I went to town, and you can buy a box of 30-30s for about $27. It's the cheapest rifle to shoot, and I can't reload them for that. I have got dies. I like 170 grain, but I've got 2 boxes down there of 150 grains, and I was gonna get out here and shoot it, and I hadn't got out here and done it yet. I got a lot I've been gonna do and ain't done. But Mike, I will say I got all your pottery made. It's down there drying. It'll be about another week, I imagine, before it's ready to cook. But I did get it all made. Y'all, I have been put back in the pottery shop. I'm working 3rd shift again. You get that bowl clean? Yeah. I'm going to tell you, Randall Hayes, if you buy enough olive oil to deep fry fish, it'll cost you a small fortune. Yes, sir. That it will. Yeah, Mike, all the other calibers is worth reloading, but 30-30, I can seriously, in here in Philadelphia, I can buy a box of 30-30 shells for $27. And the powder and stuff costs more than that. So I just bought several boxes up and stashed them in my shed. So I haven't reloaded any, but now if I was going to buy bullets to reload, I would probably buy 170 grain. I just like to have enough energy that when I hit something, it knocks it down. But now, since I bought the Marlin 4570, I'll tell y'all exactly why I wanted the lever action 4570. Push that on back around. Easy, easy. Just touch it with your hand. I bought that for a brush gun. In other words, when I hunt for a little while in the stand, like today, I got the 4570. You seen it in the back of that buggy. I walked a couple of wood lines and stuff, just scouting around, exploring, and I tote that 4570 because if a deer jumps up and I can get a shot on him, most likely the deer's going to be running. Most likely I'm not going to get a perfect shot like a standing still deer. So if I hit the deer with the 4570, it'll just about knock him down. That bullet's got some punch to it. So that was my reason for wanting it. Somebody said, don't that kick bad? I was like, yeah, it kicks, but now I'm not shooting it like I do a 22. You know, I'm not out there just plinking at cans and stuff. I mean, when I shoot it, it's, you know, one shot I can deal with it. So it don't kick as bad as my old 12 gauge shotgun, honest to God. You know, out of that 4570, I think I'm loading them. I think I'm loading 350 grain bullets. I think I'm shooting 350 grain hollow points is what I'm shooting in the 4570. 7 grains of that 322 powder. I had to go back and look at my box. I can't remember. Actually, my daddy loaded them. I just sat there and shot them down out the window of the shack while he was loading them. Delta Prepper, there was a Jerry Clower tale. We told 2 of them, actually. I told hand running, kind of jammed them up together. Sharon Davis said, yeah, you know, sometimes I'm leery if I see one sitting on the counter. I just ease it on over in the sink just in case. Because they'll be clean as a whistle. You wouldn't know the difference. But you know, they say a dog's tongue's got penicillin in it. They said that they'd let the dogs lick the sores. You know, them folks in the Bible that had leprosy that said that, you know, there's a scripture about the dogs licking their sores. Now, don't do that. Get it on over in there now. And if you can't get it on over in there, don't be putting it. You done got the back of your jacket filthy. That's how you do that. Don't get no more. Come in. Turn around. Turn around. Boy. Oh, we're going to be in so much trouble because you have rolled in them ashes.
Well, Daniel is kind of turning off. Dad.
Rural Prepper, you got a 32 special? I bet that is a sweet shooting little gun. I got a friend of mine that's got a 44 lever action, and he has killed a couple of deer with it. We were talking about it this week, and he's killed several deer with it, like out to 100 yards. So I wouldn't mind having a 44 lever action. I'm probably eventually going to buy me a 44 Magnum lever gun, probably in a Rossi or something, because I've got a 44 Super Blackhawk. I would like to be able to just stick the same ammo in either gun. But I have got 44 rounds loaded with black powder I have shot. So Dave, that Ruger-made Marlin is a sweet gun. The only problem I've got with it, which mine's fine, but I had to move my rear sight way over to the left to get it on paper, and I don't know why. It should be center of that barrel, and it is not. So I don't know what when I first shot it a few times, it wasn't grouping. After we cleaned the barrel real good, it started grouping. Now, some of it could have been my shooting, I don't know. But it started grouping after that. But if I had not got it to group pretty straight way there, we done got the box ready. We was going to send it back to them and tell them, hey, we paid too much for that. We're not having this. But now I haven't shot a lot of rounds through it yet. Yeah, 357, and Casey was up here. He's got a Ruger single six and a 357 Magnum. It's a sweet shooting little gun. Trapdoor Sharps. I wish I had one of them old Sharps rifles, David. They would be a lot of fun to shoot. I get to, every now and then I'll see sagebrush long shots on there shooting, and if I got time, I'll pull it up and watch some of it. Boy, I get to drooling, and I had to pray over the spirit of coveting, you know. Oh, Lord, that dog down there, I don't know what they've been getting after. Every night I let these dogs out. They don't go down there to the edge of the wood line and just twist off down there at something. I don't know what they after down there, but they forevermore, probably a possum down there trying to sneak up here. I don't know, but. The 357 lever gun would be the more optimal, most accurate probably of the rounds. The reason I want the 44 is because I have a Ruger 44 Super Blackhawk. Is the only reason I would prefer the 44. In an ideal world, I'd have one of all of them, but you know, money's limited. And I'm gonna tell you something else is limited, and that's the space in the gun cabinet. It's getting a mite crowded in there. I'll be honest with you, a man don't need but about 3 guns. I mean, really and truly, if he's got a shotgun and a 22 rifle and one high-powered rifle, that's really all he needs. But all of us has got away more than that. Yeah, CJ, whatever Black Hawk I had, I'd get a lever gun to match it. That's just what they say, the cowboy way. Somebody was asking me about the lever gun fascination, and I said, you know, it's probably because all of us grew up watching westerns. We grew up watching John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and you know, different ones, Charles Bronson, and I can't remember who else, Tom Selleck and Sam Elliott and all them guys. We watched them over and over and over in every movie that they made, and they all toting them lever guns, and we just loved them because of that. My dad has got into the AR-10s, and he's built several and has got some that, I mean, will just flat out shoot. But I've not been fascinated with the AR platform. It's the most practical. Just stick the clip in, and I like to say clip because somebody wants to argue over it being a magazine. I told them a magazine's what you read. A clip's what goes in your gun. Anyway, you stick it in there and you ain't got to tote extra rounds in your pocket if you're gonna be going on a 2 or 3 day adventure or something like that. Because let's face it, in the woods, if you shoot more than 2 or 3 times at one animal, you need to stop and back up and rethink what's going on, you know. But the lever gun just has more of the old look that we like. So anyway, I've got to get my muzzleloader out. I wanted to hunt with it, but I've got that 45-70. I'm wanting to kill a deer with it now. I hadn't really toted it a whole lot. I do when I'm walking the woods, but sitting in the stand, I've been toting that .270 short mag. Dave, we all watched them take them rifles and they just made us all want one, you know. I remember watching Tombstone and watch old Doc Holliday spin that pistol and stick it in that holster. That's the very reason I got that bird head 327 Magnum. So hear them dogs down there, they after something. When I was out here first building this fire, the coyotes was down there cutting up. They were showing out down there. Y'all, I'll be right back. I'm finna go fill my coffee up. This right here is ice cold already. I'm telling you these. I'll be right back. What you doing, son? Well, Roscoe, did you get something down there caught? What was you after down there? Huh? Are there boogers down there? Did you run them off? Roxanne, you the one stir up that trouble down there? Now you got your head in my bowl. Kathy, old Val Kilmer did the best job of filling a role that anybody ever did on that. Get your head out of that pot. Roscoe's finna help himself to some more soup, I think. Val Kilmer made Tombstone. If it hadn't been for him and his role in Doc Holliday, that movie would have not near about been as popular as it was, hands down. Because all of us can sit here and quote Val Kilmer lines out of that movie. So, that used to be one of my favorite movies, but now when I started trying to live right, they cussed so much in there, I had to quit watching it. I just couldn't bear all that cussing they do in that movie. Brian Baker, thank you. Victoria, how are you? Yeah, old Jerome Smith, I had to go get me another. I made about 8 cups of coffee. Y'all believe I filled that Yeti thermos up this morning, and I carried it with me. And y'all believe at dinner, when I got ready to head to the house, it was about 11:30 when I headed home after I got through hunting and then rambled around. I walked about an hour down this one place, and I went and done all my feeders and stuff. And I got some coffee, and that wind is blowing cold, and I got the truck, and I said, I believe there's one more cup of coffee in there. And you believe it was still hot? I had some folks, they really got upset with me when I told them that Yeti was better than that Stanley thermos. And y'all, I like my Stanley thermos. In fact, I took the Stanley thermos with me the other day to the shooting house because it'll fit down in that bag, that tied wee bag. It'll fit down in one of them side pockets perfect. But now, I'm just going to tell you, the Stanley thermos, that old Stanley thermos, will not keep coffee hot as long as that Yeti. It just, I mean, I'm sorry. I love the Stanley because I love old vintage stuff. So I ain't got nothing against it, but I mean, facts are just facts, and that's all there is to it. Now, I ain't saying that there's one at Walmart they say is pretty good. I didn't buy it. I really didn't know about it till after I done ordered what I ordered. But, you know, we all live and learn. Kathy, I need to figure out what it is because I'm going to tell you, I don't watch Mountain Men very much no more because of the cussing in it. The old Charles Heston and Brian, what's his name? That movie, Mountain Men, is a good movie. But they start out GD this and GD that. And I mean, I do. Why? Why you got to say all that? It just grates on my nerves. And you know, you think, well, just don't watch it. Well, I don't, but I'd really like to watch it. Brody, let Roscoe in. Roscoe's over there clawing at the door, wanting in. Go inside, son. Go push on the door. You probably get it pushed open, I imagine. Larry Hermes. Merry Christmas from Alabama. Yeah, I'm enjoying the weather, honest to God, y'all. I know I come out of church and all the older fellas around the church, they was complaining about the cold. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you, I sure been enjoying it. And I really have, y'all. I mean, it's been where you can hunt. I can build fires. The flies are none. There's no mosquitoes. It's been wonderful. You know, it's a little chilly, but I mean, that's what I'm cut firewood for, you know. I'll Google it, Kathy. I can probably pull it up on Google and find what I need. I just ain't really thought about it. Philip Greer, I have watched Andy Griffith. I'm talking about till I can quote every show. But I still watch it when it's on. And the Beverly Hillbillies, too. I didn't watch the Beverly Hillbillies as much as I did Andy Griffith. I liked Barney Fife and Andy Griffith. He cracked me up. Now, I get plumb tickled at him. And I liked old Red Fox and Sanford and Son. Now, they got a little carried away with those shows. And it got a little off color at times, but they were still very clean compared to what you find today. I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. I don't have time to. But now Brody's been wanting to watch. We watched I went blank, Indiana Jones. We've been going through them, but he was wanting to watch something the other night, and we didn't really have nothing on our mind to watch. He was crawled up in the bed with me after I had got through editing a video. We've usually put something on that'll put me to sleep. Is what I do, and I don't never make it through a movie. But I went to scrolling through, I don't know if I was on Amazon Prime or one of them streaming services we got. I think we got the Roku. I don't know what all's on it. And I scrolled through stuff, and I'm telling you, there wasn't not one thing on there that interested me, not one bit. Every bit of it was just god-awful looking stuff. And I thought, my Lord, man, the world has just become a cesspool of trash and filth. I mean, and these people just soaking it up and loving it, you know. And I'm like, I can't watch that garbage. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe just taste changes. I don't know what it is, but they wasn't nothing on there I was interested in. And I watched the Mountain Men series some. I like to see old Tom Moore and Eustace Conway and different ones on there. Old Marty up there in Alaska, and I watched that. And I liked the show Life Below Zero. I liked that show. I never did get into Alone. I watched a little of it, but it just, they've done me in with the fact that show not allowing people to move, because in a real life situation, if you're stuck and stranded, you're going to move to where the game is. Sitting there telling somebody you can't go nowhere, you got to sit right here. No, that I don't know. That didn't do it for me. Kathy, that is the very reason that I make as much content as I make, really and truly. It's not because I think I'm so great and I need to do all these videos. It's about just creating some clean stuff. It's entertaining. I know a lot of times I'll film stuff that probably ain't worth watching. You know, I mean, it's probably not interesting to the majority of people. It's just day-to-day life stuff, a lot of it, you know, just to keep up with what I'm doing. But, you know, you got to have something to watch that you know I ain't going to get cussed out in about 5 minutes of watching it. Them old reels you scroll through, you have to make them. And I make reels. I make them for Facebook and Instagram. And the reason that I make them is that is the only way you get into the algorithm and pick up subscribers. Well, then, therefore, they can see my YouTube stuff, and it helps me grow my YouTube channel. YouTube is my number one thing, what I'm focused on. But them reels, if you get sucked into watching some of them, well, the biggest problem is in about 20 minutes, you done been sitting there scrolling through, and you're like, what in the world am I doing sitting here watching this garbage? Because you can scroll through it, and before you know it, you done been cussed 6 ways from Sunday, and you ain't even done nothing wrong. You know, I was just sitting here on my phone, man. Why you cussing at me? You know, and all these folks is mad at the whole world. I have never in my life seen as many people as mad at everybody else as they are. I mean, it's like everybody hates everybody. You know, I don't know. Secondhand Lines was a good movie. I like old Robert Duvall now. He made him and Lonesome Dove playing Gus made Lonesome Dove what it was. If Robert Duvall had not been in Lonesome Dove, they wouldn't nobody watch it much. I mean, that's just fact. But I'll be honest with y'all, talking about all these TV shows, we watched a lot of it, but here lately, I come in and if I got time, I've been sitting down reading. In the morning when I get up, I used to watch a lot of YouTube then. Now I try to check my email. I try to check my notifications on stuff. And I try to reply to comments. Some of them, there's no way I can reply to all of them. I have absolutely quit trying to reply to every comment. I used to do that. But you can't. And I'll go through that, and then I try to read at least 3 chapters in my Bible in the morning. And I'm reading in the New King James Version because I'm reading in the prophets. And I've done read them in King James, and I'm just reading them in the New King James to see, hey, do I understand something a little differently with this different translation? I'd never preach out of anything but the King James Version, so that's for all the people who's like, all these other translations is not... You can read other stuff knowing that, hey, they took a little out of it, but, you know, I might discover something I didn't understand just by seeing it in a different way, so... That's my purpose for reading it. But I do that, and then when I get through with that, it's pretty much time for me to go on and get my day. And then when I come in the afternoons and sit down, if I'm not working on editing a video and doing stuff like that, I have been reading Hantayo. I'm trying to get it done. And then Thor sent me a book called A Land Remembered. I'm wanting to read it. I have got a huge to-read list that I need to be reading on. I like to read. I miss reading William Shakespeare. I like William Shakespeare. I like poetry. I have got Robert Frost and William Blake, and I don't know what all poets. I like Edgar Allan Poe. I like a lot of old stuff. So I like to read. Got away from watching a lot of TV. I mean, once you've watched everything that's good, you get tired of watching the same. So I've got back into reading. Now, here lately, I haven't gotten to read as much as I want to. I don't have the time to read. So I was hoping this winter life would slow down. And maybe after Christmas it will, but I doubt it. I keep thinking, oh, in a few weeks it's going to slow down. And it just keeps picking up speed, it seems like. More jobs to do, more stuff to get done. I did see Diana, that little girl, destroying stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you could say and blame things on, but what we're seeing is literally spirits of evil that have gained momentum and power in this nation. And a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I'm fixing to tell you the truth of what's going on with a lot of it. We are seeing the result of single parenthood. We're seeing the result of single mamas raising babies. Now, I'm not going to blame and say, well, it's all the single mama's fault. It's as much the daddy's fault for not being in the home as it is the mama raising them by herself. In many cases, the mama left on her own free will and because she didn't want to be with, for whatever. Who's actually to blame in each scenario and situation is probably up for grabs. I'm not going to try to place blame on one or the other, but it's probably both of them's fault, truth be told. But we are seeing the result of kids that was raised without a daddy in the home to correct them. Homes that have a daddy in the home, mama and daddy, just about 90% of the time, them kids know how to respect other people. And I realize there's a lot of single mamas out there that didn't ask for it. So please understand, I am not just throwing stones at all the single mamas. But I will tell you this, especially boys, but really girls too, need a daddy in the home. I mean, I can't preach it enough. And what it is that discipline. You've got a lot of these grown men now that all they are is overgrown mama's babies. I mean, they are spoiled rotten. Mama, oh, that's my baby. I remember when I was in school, we'd all be showing out on the school bus. Now, I ain't saying that because I showed out. I mean, I got in trouble. I had mama and daddy in the home, and I got into more mischief than anybody. But I knew what to come back to. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that it should go, and it shall not depart from that. That in other words, they'll remember how they supposed to act. Now, they may not always act like they supposed to, but it's in their heart. They know right from wrong. But their mamas that get on the school bus, them boys that they just had a mama at home and didn't have a daddy at home with them, just about every time, they don't you paddle my baby. That's he didn't do that. And I'm thinking the whole time, if you knew what your young'un is doing, he's as guilty as the rest of us. But every time they'd show up at the principal's office, my youngin' didn't do that. And that's what we see in the result of right now in our nation for the last 10 years at least, probably longer than that. That's why stuff is chaotic as it is, because it's all of them been the same way. Roscoe, he has done been to that door over there about 3 times. You really want to get in the house, don't you? Are you ready to go inside? I'll tell y'all probably why I turned out as bad as I did when I was bad is because my daddy was gone half the time. He worked offshore. So them weeks that he was gone, I got away with a lot more. I should have probably. But now I'll tell you this, I knew when I got in trouble, if Daddy was around, Daddy was going to tear that tail up. I got my share of getting my tail tore up. I remember some of them distinctly. What? You cold? You want to go inside? You ready to go inside? You ain't sure? He said he'd sit down right there for a few minutes. Alicia, that don't surprise me. I'll be honest with you, it don't surprise me one bit. She said she drives a bus and the kid would be on camera doing something and they'd deny it was their kid. I remember when we got the first camera on our school bus, they made us all line up in the office and stand there and watch us. We got to watch a video of us showing out on there. We're about mean as Eugene now. Roxanne, what are you wound up about? Huh? No, you're not getting in my lap. She thinks she's a lap dog. Oh, me. Well, what y'all want to talk about now? We done got off, but we fastly getting headed toward politics. So we need to make one of them turns, 180 about. I don't like to get nowhere around politics. Somebody asked me about politics the other day. I said I try to stay as far away from politics as I can. I don't like politicians. I vote and I have an opinion, but I mean, I don't know. All we can do is hope for the best. What Jerry Clower have we not told in a good long while? I listened to one album the other day, and I can't remember now what all was on it that I was listening to. I like some Jerry Clower. Lee Cole, just email me or message me on Facebook. Either one. I just don't do anything through comments, and the reason is the comments disappear like fast, and I can't go find them. So that's why I don't do anything over a comment. Let me know. Email me, justinpeden@gmail, or either you can get on the Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page and message me through that. And somebody asked me the other day, said, why don't you message, I didn't get a message, or you could have messaged. For whatever reason, being that it's a page, I can't message people within that page unless they message me first. Now, I don't know why it's that way. At one time, I thought I could, but for some reason the other day, I was going to message somebody that had commented asking about something, and I could not message them. You have to message me first for me to be able to converse with you in Messenger, and it's the craziest thing, but that's how it is. So, where is Jonah? Jonah, this is the replica of Jonah. The one that I found Jonah is down there, hanging up in the knife shop. I don't know if I'm going to put it up, retire it, or tote it. I hadn't made my mind up. I tell you what I ain't going to do. I am done with horizontal sheaths. I had several people say, oh, put a magnet in there, put this kind of tab, build this kind of sheath. No, I'm not doing any more sideways horizontal sheaths. Not for those type knives. Bowie knives, yes, but now the Bowie knife is big enough with a bolster and all. You can put a tab on it. That's one thing. Those are all unique. But these Jonahs, I like doing everything the same. They just need a regular sheath like this and Cadillac with it. Kathy Pittman, your daughter-in-law was a pedin. Oh, Michelle Collins, I actually took the guitar in the house the other night. It was laying out here cold. I ain't that good of a singer and guitar picker. I'll be honest with you. I can make some racket on there and I can howl like an old hound dog, but you know, I'm afraid that them numbers up there, right now we got 168. If I start playing the guitar and singing, it'll go down to about 75. I can just about guarantee it. Oh, yeah, Uncle Sasquatch Roscoe is really ready to go in the house. He's done been to that door several times. I need to go let him in. But I figured he'd be all right laying right here by this fire. I was going to put some more wood on it, but I hate to keep putting wood on it because I'm going to shut this down about 9 o'clock and go in the house because there ain't no telling what Brody. I see him on the couch. I got my eyeballs on him. But when I went in to get my coffee, he was coming from upstairs where his mama's crafting stuff is, where she's been doing her pottery and all. And the reason she's up there doing it is that loft is open to like a balcony to the vaulted ceiling. All the heat goes up there. Well, it's nice and toasty up there. And which it's been, with that fire going, been warm all in the house. But anyway, he was coming down the stairs. He'd been looking for some scissors. I said, son, what do you need scissors for? He had him a honey bun he was trying to open. So, tell about the Ledbetters putting out the burning building. Oh, Lord, help. Well, it got dry in Amite County. I mean, dry. The wind was bad and hadn't rained in months. And everybody knew that if a building caught fire, it is gone. I mean, there wasn't no water. They didn't have enough folks to tote it. Well, one day there's a building a burning and folks is gathered around and there's a squalling and watching the building burn. They was toting water, but there wasn't enough water to tote. I mean, they just couldn't put it out. And them Ledbetters is coming, and there's a hanging all on that old truck they had. And just the old fenders is a flopping on it, blah, 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 blah. Just Ledbetters are hanging, and all of them is on there. Ardell, Burnell, Ray Nail, WL, Anell, Odell, Udell, Marcel, Claude, Eugene, and Clovis is all on there. And Uncle Verson ain't pet up in the cab. Man, they coming down the hill toward the fire, and the crowd is gathered around watching the building burn, and the Ledbetters is coming pretty fast, so the crowd kind of parted, and man said they drove that truck right up on the porch of the building, right up in amongst the fire, and they bailed out, and said all 11 of the Ledbetters jumped out, said Aunt Pet had her bonnet going, whoo, jump over here, stomp right here, and Uncle Versi had his overhaul jumper jerked off, a flopping and a whooping, and said, man, all 11 of them young'uns stomping and a jumping around, said, man, they stomped the fire slam out. I mean, put it completely out. Oh, the crowd cheered. I mean, they Ledbetters as heroes, you know, and they passed a hat and took up a collection, and they come up with $37. They took and give it to Uncle Versi with the $37 and said, "You are a hero." Said, "Y'all have put the fire out. Nobody else could have done it." And said, "What are you going to do with the $37? And Uncle Versi said, "Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get the brakes fixed on that old truck." Yeah, he said he was going to fix the brakes on that old truck. I told him the other night, they was talking about coon dogs. And old Highball was the best coon dog he ever was. Said old Highball could just flat do it. Said folks come around from everywhere to hear old Highball run. Old Highball got on up in years and had him down there in the Amite River swamps and said, old Highball, he is vicious. Said he tied up with a big boar coon and said, he said they flat wallered down some ground. Said there's said old Highball done lit into him. Said that coon was said the fur was flying and hair everywhere, and said, they done wallered down. Said they fought for 30-something minutes. Uncle Versi was hollering, "Talk to him, darling. Put it on him, darling. You can do it, darling. Put it on him." Said he had done got excited. Said they fought. Said they done fought their way up on that train track of that Panama Limited. Train come through there doing 100 miles an hour. Said it'd come through the town down there. Said they had the cleanest town in the woods. Said when the Panama Limited come through there, said it just sucked all the trash off the streets. Said them dogs is locked together, said in a death-to-death struggle. Said they was locked down on each other right up in the middle of that railroad track. Said here come that Panama Limited and whoom, run over both of them. Killed them graveyard dead. Uncle Versi was a squalling and tears and wiping them tears, talking about old Highball, and said I told him, well, Uncle Versi said, we got some puppies off of old Highball. Said they'll be good as old Highball. Said don't cry. He said, son, I ain't crying because of the dogs gone. He said, I ain't that crazy. He said, what's tearing me up the most? He said, old Highball might have died thinking that coon killed him. Said old Highball might have died thinking that coon killed him. Oh, me. They got to talking about some of them coon dogs, though, and talking about Highball, said Marcel told them, said Highball's the greatest coon dog ever was. Said they ain't no coon dog nowhere better than Highball. He said, I don't care. He said that's just all there are to it. And said there was some rich folks up in Jackson, Mississippi, said they had a dog that they thought was better than old Highball. And Marcel said, you a lie. Said, you a bald-faced lie, and that's all there is to it. Said, so they got down there and they was going to have a hunt off one night. Said, so they got down there in the Amite River swamps. Said they pulled up. Said them folks pulled their truck up there and let down the tailgate, and they had that dog up in there, and said the rules was, said we're going to open the tailgate, and said see when they strike a trail and see how long till they tree, and we'll set the timer. Said we'll let old Highball go first. Said old Highball said they turned him out and said he went around a circle, said in a little bit, said he got off out there and said about that time he struck a trail. Brrr. Said you could hear him working that trail slow, staying right on it. Brrr. Brrr. Said then all of a sudden, said you could hear old Highball cut loose. Said you know he is staring at the raccoon, all the barking you ever heard. Ooh, ha, ooh, ha, ooh. Said he's on him. So they hit the timer, said that's it. Said 5 minutes and 37 seconds. So them rich folks said they opened the tailgate on theirs, hit the timer. Said that dog hit the ground and said, man, he struck a trail right now. Said, I'm talking about he struck a trail right there from there. Went out there along, said that dog treed. And they said, that's it. Said 2 minutes flat. They got out there and they shining, but they can't find a raccoon. Said, man, what in the world? Said, we can't find the raccoon in the trees. They done climbed the tree, shine out on every limb, shining, still ain't found a raccoon. Said the man that owned that dog, said, man, said that dog so fast, he beat the raccoon to the tree. They went one night, though, said they was going to go coon hunting, said the hides had done got up high, and said the guy said, man, said, I'm going to tell y'all, he said, I'll show you how to catch more raccoons in a night's time. He said, I'll catch more than any of y'all will catch with them dogs. He said, the hides are expensive. So he said, no, said, you're not going to catch more raccoons than us. They got down there in the swamps and said that fella come driving up and said he opened that dog box back there and said he didn't even have a coon dog in there. Said what he had was a monkey. Said, old Clovis said, I ain't taking my dogs. No, said Eugene said, I ain't taking my dog with that thing. Said, no, not with that trashy thing. Said, he looks too much like folks. Said Clovis, said, he told him, said, well, I'll take old June and we'll go. The guy said, well, said, I need one good coon dog. He said, he'll tree the raccoon. He said, and then I let the monkey go. And they said, what? Said that monkey got out, said he had a flashlight in one hand, had a pistol in the other. And he said, when the dog trees, said that monkey goes up a tree, he's shining around in that tree, he finds a raccoon with that light, and he shoots him with a pistol. Oh, man, so they turned old June loose, went out there. Said this monkey said that thing hates a raccoon. Said it's the best, we'll catch more raccoons than you ever saw. Said old June treed out there. Said they all eased down in the swamp. They get down to the bottom of the tree and said, man, that man turned that monkey loose. Said that thing went right up beside that tree. Boogity, boogity, boogity up in there. Said he run out on every limb, shining that flashlight, had that flashlight in one hand, pistol in the other one. Said, man, that thing went all over that tree, shining everywhere. And said what he does, said he finds a raccoon and shoots it out. Well, he ain't found no raccoon. Said, man, here come that thing back down the side of that tree, boogity, boogity, boogity. Said he walked right up to old June, said he cocked that pistol, stuck it up to old June's head, and said, bloom, just killed him, graveyard dead. Said old Clovis went to squall and said, man, said that trashy thing has killed my dog. He said, Clovis, said there ain't but one thing that monkey hates worse than a raccoon, and that's a lion coon dog. Oh, man, now what should we want to hear? We done about told them out. They had some coon hunting stories now, I'm going to tell you. I have been coon hunting a few times in my life. I had some old boys said they was down here in this Pearl River swamp coon hunting one night and said, you know, they get them lights and wire them to the cap. Said this one old boy said he had him a hard hat. I don't know why he had that hard hat. I reckon he was afraid the limb fall out of a tree, hit him on the noggin. They were walking around wading them sloughs out there, and you know when the water gets up down here in the swamp, it'll just flood the whole thing. You'll have to be watching to where them sloughs and ditches and stuff are, but the water everywhere will be about ankle deep. Well, they'll still get out in there wading around with them hip waders on, and tree raccoon, they got them lights, you know, on the hats. These two old boys was walking down through there, and they was just a-talking, and one of them said he turned around to say something to his buddy and said he was gone. Said he looked and said that hat was floating in the water like that. Looked like a boat bobbing in the water. That old boy stepped in a stump hole and swam out of sight. And that's a true story right there. They got him drug up out of there. He is soaking wet and about froze to death. You ain't gonna believe this. He was ready to go after that. Kathy, that is about sad. I used to raise some. I had two blue ticks, and they was the prettiest coon dogs you ever saw. But I struggled to train them because I didn't know nothing about training no coon dog. I was in my mid-20s, and you know, already thought I knew everything. That's the problem with most folks. They already know everything, you know, and anyway, I was trying to train them, and I had that hog trap y'all see down there. I catch coons in it occasionally. And that is the reason that I put a top in it. Now, in Mississippi, they want you to cut that top out, but you can't catch coons in one. They'll get in there and set that trap off, go right out the top, and you ain't got nothing. But I had two raccoons caught in that thing one day down there, and my old cousin, Michael Gray, before he passed on, God rest his soul, he come driving up, and I said, you want to go down there with me and let's check that hog trap? I said, there's a couple of coons in there, they told me. I said, we're going to take these two blue tick hounds down there. I said, and we're going to train these dogs to tree a coon. I said, if we throw them in there and they'll have to fight them raccoons, I said, that'll make them, said they'll be tough in. You know, they get in there and fight them coons. We got down there, hauled them dogs all the way down there to the edge of the swamp where that hog trap was. I got them two blue tick hounds. Now, y'all, this is a true story. In fact, with my hand up, I'm telling you. My cousin, you know, he kind of hobbled around. He had several palsy when he was born, and he couldn't walk real straight, and he kind of crippled, you know, and so he was slow getting around, and I had the trap set off right in the middle of a briar thicket. You had to just kind of fight your way up there to it. Well, I got up there with them dogs. I had them in the dog box, and I had them both on a leash, and they was twisting around my legs and done tangled up. Well, I got up there and opened that door up, and I just unsnapped them dogs, and I throwed both dogs in that trap with them two coons, you know. So we got two dogs and two coons up in a trap that's about 4 by 4, 6 foot long, and I had the door shut, and you talking about the awfulest carrying on you ever seen in your life. Them two coons whooped them two dogs. When I opened the door to let that dog out, he run by me so fast. He went right by the truck, and I'm talking about beeline to the house. When I got home, they was under the truck up here. They didn't want nothing to do with no raccoon. I ruined two good coon dogs that day. Yeah, Tennessee Smoky, the original Jonah knife is hanging in the knife shop down there. I have got the original Jonah back. I oiled it up, cleaned it up, re-oiled the handle, and I just hung it up on a nail. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. I'll be honest with y'all, I'm probably gonna wind up putting it back on my side. I think long as I keep it in this regular sheath, it'll stay. I mean, I lost it because it was in there horizontal. So I said I was gonna retire it. The knife has gotten pretty sentimental to me simply because it launched my knife making career. It is the knife that has put me where I'm at. I mean, as far as the knife goes, now all the credit goes to the good Lord above, most importantly. But you know, I mean, as far as material things, the knife helped me, and it's the start of something. So it's kind of got some sentimental to it. It's just a knife. I mean, I ain't putting it way up on a pedestal, but I had thought about just retiring it and, you know, having it for a memento. But, you know, I hate to do that because it's still making stories. It's still becoming a legend. I thought, you know, if I quit toting it, what am I going to deprive it? You know, what's going to be the next legend of Jonah, you know, before it's said and done? So I don't know. I'm probably going to wind up before hunting season's over with it back on my hip. You know, it deserves to get to skin a few more deer. What are you after, Roxanne? What is it? What's wrong with you? What you done got so wound up about? No, I'm not playing. I quit school because of recess. I don't play. But anyway, I don't know exactly what I'm going. What's the difference in the Jonah knives? All of them are a little bit unique in their build, and everything is handmade, honestly. So all of them have a little bit different feel to it. I mean, they just, whatever the wood winds up being, they're all very close. But I mean, they're just really the only big difference is the handles. This is the one I replaced Jonah with, and it's got a lanyard hole. I don't put a lanyard hole in them typically. I just done it to experiment, but I really ain't a fan of the lanyard. In a way, it gets in my way more than anything. But that's sycamore, and that's as close to Jonah. I mean, the difference in them basically is the wood on the handle. I put several different type handles on them. Yeah, Tommy, in fact, you could put one of them things on the lanyard on a serious note to where if you lost it, that you could track it down. But, you know, I liable to lose it in a river or something. You know, there's no telling with me. And if I lost it, say like I had it in the Tom Bigby River and lost it up there cutting up deer liver, it'd just be gone in, you know, 30, 40 foot of water. But, we cooked deer stew tonight, Jerome Williams. For those of you late, what we done, we got this right here hanging. I got some canned deer meat, put it in there, can of tomatoes, and chopped up some onions and a very little bit of water. And we hung that over the fire, and we had soup tonight. Yeah, Tennessee Smoky, that knife is really honestly becoming a legend. You know, you never think that something. I mean, you don't never see that coming. It just kind of happens. So, yeah, I mean, we done lost it twice and found it again. So, it started a knife business. I mean, it's done a lot for me. It's skinned a bunch of game been in a pile of videos. I mean, it is a knife of legend now. And you know, there's one of the reasons I thought about hanging up. I mean, at this point already, it has done more than a lot of knives, but I hate to deprive the knife of the chance to keep getting used because it is very much a good functional knife. Oh, Philip, I was tickled. I really was. And the thing was, I knew everywhere I had been that day. The day that I lost it, I mean, I knew exactly every step I had made. And I backtracked everywhere but one area. And so I went back. I said, you know what? I did not go in that area, but I didn't think I had done that, but kind of walked around and looked there. I went back through that area, and sure enough, I just happened to see it laying over in the pine straw. So I was like, yes. Part of it was I got my knife back, but the next thing was like I accomplished what I set out to do. I found it. But I couldn't. I mean, I thought about it constantly when I was out at the deer camp. I didn't think about it here, but I mean, when I would be over there walking around, I couldn't help but keep looking at the ground like I might see my knife. So it was driving me crazy too, I reckon. Larry, it was in the last place I looked. But, I thought about going back one more time and looking for it again just so it wouldn't be in the last place I looked. Oh, Lord. Well, Larry, you want some soup?
No, I was going to say if you wanted some sandwiches.
Sandwiches? My belly's full right now.
What kind of soup did you make?
Deer and tomatoes in this pot over the fire. How'd the party go?
It went good. I'm tired.
Party animal. Yeah, Tommy Everett, it was like finding an old friend. I mean, you get used to using something and it being a part of every day. I mean, okay, so here's the big deal with a knife. I don't know how to explain it, but every year, because I liked making knives, I only really made them for me at the time. So my deal is every fall I would make me a new hunting knife for the fall. And I have given several of them away. I don't know how many. I think I have still got 2 of them that I made like that. Other than the buoys. I've got all the buoys I made. But I'd give them away or do something and I'd make me a new one, because I wanted to make another knife as my excuse. Well, I got into the buoys and started forging, and I really love a big bowie knife. I mean, there's something about a big knife that makes me happy. But I made Jonah and toted it, and I was like, man, this thing does everything and does it well. The only thing that I cannot do, that's enough. The only thing that I can't do with Jonah is like when I'm harvesting arrows or limbs, you can't chop. Say you're down there, Say you're down there running limb hooks and you want some cane poles, or you can't chop anything with. That is the only downside. I've heard countless of these bushcraft guys say knives ain't made for chopping. Well, I've got a lot more practical reason for chopping with a knife than I do batoning it through sticks of firewood. In reality, I think batoning a knife is the dumbest thing that a person can do, really and truly. But it's your knife. You do what you want to with your knife. You guaranteed you dulling it. I mean, you just are a little bit. But chopping, I mean, if I'm doing stuff, I'm trying to harvest poles for fishing. I'm trying to harvest arrow stuff. I mean, yeah, I can cut through it, but let's face it. it's a lot more practical to chop the limbs off. I got a big stick I'm making a spear out of or whatever, and I got some little limbs. It's better to chop them all off. So anyway, that's the only thing it don't do very well. And that's why I like a big Bowie knife. I can go through briars, chop briars out of my way and all such as this stuff. But I kept finding myself going back, even after I made newer Bowies. I made the Green River. I made several other knives. I always wound up wanting to put this one back on my side. And I was like, this knife just, it skins game well. A big Bowie knife, let's face it, you're not going to really skin game, especially like squirrels. I mean, I can do it. Don't get me wrong. I can do it. It's just not as practical, you know, to have a big giant knife skinning small game. So I would wind up with Jonah, and the Jonah knife does it all very well. It has a good, comfortable fit in your hand. It is an appropriate size. The big thing I like about it is it will go between a fork. It goes through the prongs. A big 1/8 of an inch thick bushcraft knife you can't cut your steak between your fork, you know. Now you can stick it and cut beside the fork, but I mean, you see what I'm saying? I use it to cut my steak up. Yeah, I wipe it on my blue jeans. That's how I get it sanitized and sterilized, is on my denim blue jeans. But I'll cut my steak up with it. I'll skin my deer with it. I'll skin raccoons with it. Which now I do most of my coon skinning and varmint skinning with a whole separate knife. I don't really use my Jonah knife for that stuff because you never know what's in some of those other critters, you know. And I don't eat a lot of raccoon. I cooked one other night, but it's not something that, hey, I'm going to start trying to cook every raccoon. Because, I mean, if you're trapping them, you'll get so many before it's said and done. You can't eat all of that. You can try to sell them, but it just, I don't know. It was practical. So it just fit. I don't know. I got partial to it. I noticed for 3 years, I have quit making a new knife, and I tote this one. It cuts up bait. It does everything. So the Jonah knife is a very practical, usable knife, and that's what I like about it. It's going to be hard to come up with a design that outperforms it in a whole doing everything type of deal. Now, if you're just skinning deer, you might come up with something that works a little better. If you're just cleaning fish, you might come up with something. But if you want to do everything, it's going to be hard to beat this. So, I don't know. We'll see. Roman noodles, Tommy Litchfield. Randall Hayes said he loved Roman noodles. I tell y'all, I got scolded the other day about Roman noodles. Somebody said they was not good for you. Tommy, I'm going to tell you the thing about baton and wood. I'm going to tell you where people are messing up. Is toting a saw to the woods. I'm telling you the truth. They started toting these folding saws, and that is what created the baton and firewood. They take a stick of wood and want to take a big club and beat their knife through it to get splinters out of a big old stick of firewood that they've sawed with that silky gumboy or Fiskars or whatever. I've been living in the edge of the woods my whole life. Been building fires since I was a kid, especially a teenager. Roxanne, get out of there. She's down there in my knife shop digging in the floor. Probably after the cat. But my growing up here in the woods and building fires, I have always been able to find downed limbs. Dead twigs. Even when it was raining, I could find enough stuff hanging out of the trees around to build a fire with. I have never really needed. The only thing I split up, like if I find a pine knot and I want to get some fat pine splinters, you might want to bust that up into some smaller pieces. But aside from that, you know, you go down there and they say, oh, well, I want to cut my wood up into short sticks. You know, I get that you want to, but is it necessary? No. In a survival situation, that's what they're teaching is survival skills. You can burn all that. You can drag a big old long log up there and lay it across your fire you made and burn it in two, and take the stick that you burn in two and put it back up there and drag this one across and burn it in two again. And you can keep burning it in two, getting the use out of it without having to work yourself to death. And I don't know if people don't think about this, or I really think they just bought this new saw and this new knife, and they want to saw wood and beat on their knife with a stick to see if it'll take it. The problem they've got is I don't see any of these bushcrafters that's teaching this skinning anything much. I mean, they all eating soup out of a can or eating something out of a pack that they warming up. Very few of them is actually killing anything. So, you know, I use my knife to skin whatever I'm hunting. I want it sharp, and I don't feel like after you beat it through a stick of firewood that you're going to skin a whole lot with it. Let's, you know. Anyway, Deaver, it ain't 50 degrees. It's actually about 32, 30. I don't know what it is. I bet I could pull it up on, I bet I ain't even got a weather app on this iPad no more. I don't have a weather app. There ain't. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Well, I thought it was weather. Unable to load weather. Yeah, we got 3% on this thing, y'all. Hey, it's about time to shut all of this down. I tell you though what I can do. Hang on for it. I got my cord right here. Plug this piece of junk up. There we go. These battery packs, if you do much filming and stuff like I do, I use this thing, I don't know, and I've charged my phone the whole time I've been filming because it was on about 50% when I realized, hey, I got to, do live. It's on 81%. This thing, Miss Lena Carr sent me this for doing a video for cow farm on boots. I like them True Dave boots I had on today, but they don't seem to be as warm as the black cow. I wish I had those cow in a camouflage boot, really and truly. 29, Tommy, that's in Meridian. Tommy is south of me. 29 and 75% humidity. Oh, Lord, it is cold. 23 in Pennsylvania, 25 in North Alabama. Yeah, Cindy, she said my husband used to baton a lot. I told him, go ahead, but I'm not running a good knife like that. There's no real good reason for it. I agree 100%. I honest to God, I don't see a practical. I mean, if you want to baton a knife, it's your knife. You beat on it if you want to. I don't care. But now, when you try to teach people that that's what they should do, I do kind of have a gripe with that. And there's a lot of well-known bushcraft people that's teaching, man, this is what you do. And then you get a whole bunch of these guys that just into bushcraft as a hobby. And they're filming camping. I watch a bunch of them that just go out filming camping videos on the weekend because they're not used to the outdoors. They weren't raised in the outdoors, and it just becomes a fascination to them. And I'm happy for them to do that. I mean, and some of them make really good videos doing it. But they all start batoning wood, and I'm like, and the whole time in the back of the frame, there's a dead limb hanging over there. I'm like, there's twigs, dry twigs hanging off the ground right there. You don't see them. They right there. You could break that up. You don't have to do all of this. But when all you brought your knife for was to baton wood, you eating, I don't know, whatever out of Idaho potatoes out of a sack, pouring water in it. You bought your Campbell's beef soup, and that's what you're eating. Well, you don't need a knife to skin that no way. So, $23 in Tennessee, 28. Tommy said, the closer you get to the ocean, the colder 25 degrees is. 26 low in Alabama. 24 in Knoxville, Tennessee. 30 in Union. Is that Raymond? Is that Union, Kentucky? No, Union, Mississippi. That's Raymond Rogers. He's right here by me. I know who that is now. Chris said it's 21. 20 in North Carolina, 26 in Finger, Tennessee, 32 in Mize, Mississippi, 23 in North Georgia. I have been through Mize several times. Well, y'all. This thing ain't charging up. It is just maintaining at 3%. Look, y'all, it is 9:20. We have been rattling on and going on and carrying on for long enough. Ain't y'all about ready to go to bed? I might go hunting tomorrow evening. Because they are giving away a Henry 22 lever action rifle tomorrow. I have got to go to the deer camp for that, so I may actually go sit in my shooting house tomorrow evening for a little while. I don't know. Well, I have really wumpa-jawed that thing. There. My electrons is froze, yeah. But I'm fixing to go in the house. It's cold enough out here. I've been out here long enough. I really don't mind the cold too bad. I got up before daylight and sat in it. I'm about ready to go get a shower and then crawl up in the sack. And I like to pull that cover all the way up to my ear. I don't like, to sleep with my arms all out. I like that cover. I like nothing but my nose and my eyeballs sticking out from under that cover. That's how I like to sleep. So anyway, that's about where I'm ready to go get now. I hadn't got a lot done, but it seems like I've been running wide open, except I did go get to sit and visit with a lady today. She's been very good, goes to church with us. She's been very sick for a while, doing better now, and I went and spent some time sitting and talked with her for a little while today. We had went by the bakery up there at Brooksville. The Mennonites have a bakery up there that is wonderful. And I don't know if the Mennonites actually own it anymore. I'm not sure who owns it now. The Mennonites started it, but it's still the Ye Old Country Bakery. And if you're ever in Brooksville and you see that, it's a little old hole in the wall. There ain't a lot in Brooksville. But on 45, when you sit Ye Old Country Bakery, you go by there, you want to stop and go in there. Now, they got some of the best coffee in there, but they got some pastries in there that'll make your mouth water. Box of donuts, but we got some kind of, I don't know exactly what it was, pie type thing, and I carried it to that lady as a, just kind of a gift. And seen her, she had actually sent us some money back here not long ago, and just to help us out. She wanted to help some of the ministers of the church out, and I don't think I was the only one she done it for. But, I wanted to go spend some time with her, check on her and see about her. So that is what I went, and I wound up sitting there about 2 hours, full said and done. So But you know, time like that is time well spent. Get out in this cold weather and check on some of the elders around you. I know some of you guys are probably elders, but I think this lady's probably in her 80s. Check on them. You know, some of them might need something. They might be some people that need some firewood cut, might need, you know, something checked on. Make sure they got plenty of heat in this cold weather. You'd be surprised. My uncle that I mentioned here, a couple of videos back that I had to speak at his funeral. He got very sick. He was my next door neighbor, lived right here beside me. And he really kind of quit seeing after himself. And he was one of those individuals that didn't want nobody messing with him. He was somewhat like a hermit. We just kept an eye on him. I would make sure I seen him every day, but he wouldn't hardly turn no heat on in the house. He was just, I don't know, he could afford it. He just got to a mental state that he didn't want it. I don't know what he was thinking. But my mom and dad had to go get him and took him in. It was my mama's brother. But he wouldn't see in there. So check on some of these elders. You might see them and think that, you know, they're doing good, but go check, make sure they got heat, stuff like that, because especially older folks, the blood gets thin and they get really cold. You know, they could be taking it hard. So with us closing this, thank you for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Go check on some elders, check on some people around you, make sure everybody's okay. Do a welfare check. It don't cost you nothing but a couple of hours. They gonna want to talk your ear off because they probably ain't had nobody to talk to in a while. That's what gets me. I like to talk too, so it's a double-edged sword for me. But thank y'all for watching. I've enjoyed it tonight. I've enjoyed sitting here. We went about 30 minutes longer than I planned to go. But we told some good Jerry Clower jokes tonight. It's been a while since we really got on a good Jerry Clower kick. And y'all, I don't do him justice. I grew up on some Jerry Clower, but I can't tell it like he could. We'll see y'all next time. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.